Hey guys, this is Gabriel Lorenzi, creator of the blog Grupo Dicas, one of the biggest travel blogs in the world, and today I'm here to tell you how to assemble step by step your trip to Barcelona, but it's a very complete video with very fast and objective tips for you to assemble your entire trip from beginning to the end, saving a lot and hiring the best services, tours, restaurants, and finally everything with quality and the best price. So this will be quick tips, useful and without winding up. So enjoy the video guys, don't forget to give us a like, subscribe to the channel, that helps us a lot, and buckle up. Well, this video will be very complete and we'll talk about everything, all the services that you need to plan your trip, airline tickets, travel insurance which is mandatory, cell phone chips to use the internet there, car rental, public transportation, the subway regardless of the city you're going to, and finally everything you're going to do there, which is restaurants, shoppings, and everything you need to plan to do there, how to buy, how to save money on tours, restaurants, shopping, and everything else from your trip. So let's go. The first thing you need to think about when planning your trip to Barcelona is the number of days in the itinerary. Generally, there are two scenarios: people who come to Spain just to see Barcelona and then end up traveling to other countries or cities, then they go to Paris, to Lisbon, and so on, but they end up staying only in Barcelona, and there are few people who travel to more cities in Spain. Regardless of which one your trip is, stay at least 5 days in Barcelona because Barcelona is very big. It's different from the other cities that you can get to know everything in a few days because everything is more concentrated, so at least 5 days. In the first time we spent there for 6 days, it was a very nice period and it was possible to know a lot of things in the city. If you really like to go there, if you have a big dream to visit Barcelona, you can stay at least 7 or 8 days because there will be a lot of nice things to do, and you have to decide if it will be only Barcelona or if it will be other cities. We did an itinerary once that's very nice. Most people ended up visiting Madrid too, which is the second most touristic city in Spain, the most famous. We thought it was better to take another trip to the first time we went there, which was also to the Balearic Island, which is sensational. Not many people comment about it, still little known by the tourists, but by the travelers there in Europe it's already very well known. The ones we think are sensational are Mallorca, Menorca, and Ibiza. Ibiza is related to partying and craziness, but not only that, it has the most beautiful beaches that we ever seen in the world. One of them is Formentera, which is half an hour by boat from Ibiza, which is a tour that you can do when you're there, which was the second most beautiful beach we have ever visited, really. So there are a lot of nice towns and islands to visit in Spain, and it's much easier in logistics than in Greece. The Greek islands are sensational, they are beautiful and paradisiacal, but we found the Spanish islands just as beautiful as the Greek ones, and they are much cheaper and easier. They are closer, not too crowded, easier to get to. The beaches are very close to the hotels and it's very good to go. So take a good look because it's a trip that's worth it if you really like the beach. So let's go to the other tips. Now the tips are for you to save money throughout your trip and will be very similar to the video on how to save a lot in Barcelona. So if you have already watched it, you don't need to watch the rest of this one because they are almost the same tips, and if you have not watched it, no need to watch the other also, because now we'll talk everything step by step for you to plan your entire trip. And starting with the first item of the trip, the first service that people usually hire is the airline ticket. It's the start there, the starting point for you to start planning your trip. It's usually the most expensive item where you will spend a good part of your budget. There's no way, but there are some nice tips that will help you save money. The tickets to Barcelona, you can usually get good prices compared to other places in Europe. There are many direct flights leaving from the main airports in the world that helps a lot in your search. You can find tickets with promotions, and sometimes you can find a cheaper flight to Madrid. It's difficult. To Barcelona it's usually cheaper, but do a research and sometimes it pays off if you're thinking of spending a few days in Madrid or start the trip there. But the round trip tickets there, but usually to Barcelona is the best price in Spain for the airfare. And some quick tips for the ticket: an obvious tip is searching all airlines, because usually there are some that make very good promotions, so search on all of them. You don't have to go to all of them. There are tools today, one that we use and we highly recommend. I'll leave here in the description of the video the link to it and the link to all the other items that I'll mention in the video for you to plan well. So you will have everything here in the video description down here for you to consult. This site, this tool you put the date there and it compares in all the companies. The prices are very good. Lately it was the one that showed the best price in all the trips we've taken. We are always buying and researching the tickets through there so you can compare them all and see the best prices. Avoid night flights, which are usually more expensive. Weekend flights are also usually a little more expensive, and direct flights are more expensive. If you want to save a lot of money, try to look for flights with 1 or even 2 stopovers, which sometimes end up being cheaper. Another important tip for your trip that you need to hire is travel insurance. It's mandatory. For those who don't know, it's super important to travel to almost every country in Europe. For the main ones, you need to have travel insurance. Yes, it's mandatory, and the requirement is that the travel insurance covers a medical assistance of at least 30,000 euros. This scares people a little. Wow, it will be a fortune a travel insurance that covers this. It's not. Travel insurance is not expensive. On the contrary, it's very cheap, and we recommend that you always take it. Whenever we leave our country, we take out travel insurance. It's very important because it covers you for everything. Travel insurance will cover you for medical and dental assistance, if there's loss of luggage, theft of luggage, and several other problems during the trip that can cause you much more damage. Medical consultations abroad cost a fortune, hospitalization not to mention. Travel insurance covers everything and it's not expensive. You can also use the comparator that we use, that's very good. I'll leave here the link as well. It's one of the biggest comparators in the world, and it has all the registered insurance companies. So you put the date, the region you are going to visit, and it shows all the options. Then you can see which are the cheapest and the best price. So it's very good. The comparator has better prices than the insurance companies themselves because they have very aggressive negotiations. They have a very high sales volume, so use the comparator and you will save a lot. And just to give you an idea, for a 10-day trip, a good insurance that covers all of this, you will spend between $29 to $32. That's what we spent last time. It varies a little bit because of the dollar, but it's very cheap compared to everything it will cover during your trip. And a nice tip is that for the insurance is valid for all Europe. For example, you will put there as destination Europe, you will have coverage in all countries. If you're going to visit France, Portugal, or any other country, it's the same insurance and you don't need to take another. Now, a cool tip that you can save a lot and help in your planning is car rental. Car rental in Barcelona, we do not recommend. For many other cities in the world, we think it's essential, but in Barcelona, it's not necessary. You can do most things on foot, and the city is big. There are sites further away, but you can use the subway, even Uber if you need a cab or something, so it's not worth it there. If you want to go to a round trip through Spain and then go up to Madrid, to the other cities, then it's worth it, but it's not very necessary. If you like to rent a car, there are people who like to go on a trip by car, it's super worth it, but if you want to save a little bit, you don't need to, you can do everything. And here are 2 tips to save money for those who will rent a car and for those who won't. Who will rent a car, use the price comparator. There's also a price comparison tool for car rental, similar to the one for travel insurance. I'll leave here the link as well. These comparators are very good because they do the research for you in all the companies and find even better price, because they have very aggressive negotiations with these companies, so you will get the best price. Even for car rental, it's the same scheme. Use the comparator. If you don't rent a car, the tip is the subway. And what happens? We didn't know it. When you get there, you have to buy the ticket in an automatic machine. It's super easy. It's right at the entrance of the station. You buy it there with cash or credit card. Put, if you buy the pass for one trip, it's €2.20. It costs that much at the time. If you buy the package with 10 trips, it costs €10, so it's half the price. So buy the package there. Buy a larger amount of tickets for you to save a lot. And also, for those who will use a lot, a tip from us, which we use it in the last one and it was very good, there is a card that already sells. You buy it beforehand in your country and it works for days. So for example, you buy 3 days, 5 days, or 10 days of use. You can use this amount of days at will in the subway, as many trips as you want. It helped a lot. There's a site that sells it and it's very good. We bought it there because it's also a site that sells the cheapest tickets, so you buy everything through there. I'll leave the link here below as well, and they sell this card. It's very cool and very practical, and even cheaper than the package of the several trips together there at the subway station. So it's the best price guaranteed for you to get around and move around Barcelona. And now a cool tip for you to include in your trip is the tax-free. The whole European Union and almost all countries participate. It's the following: people who do not live in that country and are visiting, in this case we the tourists. When you make a purchase of a certain amount, you get a discount, you get a refund of that money, and it's very nice. It varies from country to country, but in Barcelona, for example, it comes to a 15 to 25% refund. It's a very good money. If you make a purchase of $500, you will get up to $100 refund, and in cash you really get your money back. It's it's very good and you end up saving a lot. Almost all the big stores already have this scheme, so when you make a purchase that exceeds 90 euros, you will receive, the clerk will ask you, do you want to participate in the tax-free or do you want the refund? What do they call it and what's the refund? You answer yes. You need to have your passport number, so either bring your passport or take a picture if you like to leave your passport in the hotel room. We think it's better to leave in the safe than to walk around, but take a photo because she needs the passport number. She will fill out a leaflet, you keep it with the receipt, she will give it to you in a sealed envelope with all the right stuff, so keep it, collect it, and then you get a refund at the airport. You will collect from all purchases. It's important you have to collect from all countries. You will only get this refund at the last airport when you go back to your country. So if you're going back to your country through Barcelona, you will do it at Barcelona airport. If you're still going to Paris and you are going back to your country from Paris, you keep it and then you collect it with the ones from Paris as well, and you pick it up at the Paris airport. So it's good because you get the cash right in your hand there on the spot, or the discount on the credit card that you use it to make the purchases. You can choose, and it's super quiet at the airport. There are all the signs, you direct yourself. It's very good and you save a lot. And an exclusive tip from Barcelona that we like to talk about shopping. That's a great economy in the Primark store. It's very good. It's a very good store that we end up knowing on our last trip. They have a sensational price. They have private label clothes. The store is huge. It has 3 floors. It has all kinds of clothes for cold, heat, summer, winter, and everything. So you can take a look there because there are a lot of nice things there. It's not an excellent quality like the expensive brands, but we found it for the price very good. I ended up buying 3 shirts there, 3 cold weather clothes that I wasn't going to buy, 2 jackets and a knitwear because it cost 15 euros, 12 euros, so it was worth it. Take a look at this store because it's very good and it saves you a lot as well. The rest doesn't have much of a secret. The street stores in the more touristy places are usually a little more expensive, and then there are the malls, which usually have the best prices. Another important tip for your travel planning to Barcelona and for you to save money too are the tours. And what happens in many tourist cities in the world, there are many sites to see. That's obvious, but Barcelona has many sites that you need tickets. There's no way. You'll have to buy a lot of tickets. Already set aside an amount for this, but the good news is buying them beforehand in your country, you end up saving. It's cheaper than buying them on the spot, and you won't have to wait in line. People, the lines in Barcelona, especially in the Sagrada Familia and Casa Batlló, are huge. In the Park Güell, we noticed it actually because we bought the tickets before. We did not get the queue, but we ended up noticing the people there in the queue. It's very big and they sell out. Sometimes in the middle of the day they close the sale there to visit the tourist attraction that day. So your tip is buy before you arrive because it's much better. First, you will pay cheaper. Second, you do not pay the IOF taxes and everything because it's an international transaction. You make the purchase in your currency on the side, and you can also skip the line and you will save a lot of time in line. You will see in these attractions, if you go straight through an entrance that will have a special identification for those who already have the tickets online. It's very good. The other entrance is crowded, then you buy everything in one place. I'll leave here below the site where we bought the tickets. We researched a lot the ticket because we like to save money, and there are many sites, but in the last 3-4 trips that we made to Europe, we ended up buying everything on this site because they are very good. They have all the tickets, tours, excursions, and they are very nice too. Take a look, and we ended up buying everything with them from all the countries we visited in Europe, and they are very good and the price is very good indeed. So the good thing is that you buy everything at the same place. You don't need to go to each tourist attraction. And the tip is that you should also try to find other free tours. There's the Ciudadela Park, which is very nice and you don't need to pay to get in. There is Las Ramblas, which is the main street of the city. You can walk there for several days and it's very nice. There are stores, restaurants, and there are beaches. There is La Barceloneta Beach, which is very nice. It's at the end of the Ramblas and it's very beautiful. So use the free tours there too, so you can have a look and not spend anything. The Montjuic queue is very cool too. The fountain show, it's all free. And a very cool tip, go to this show at night. There's a list on the website of the days that they happen. It's usually on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's a sensational fountain show. You will see it on the screen right now. We put it there for you to have a no-show in the area. There is very beautiful. You spend a whole afternoon visiting it and it's almost all free. So there are several options of tours for you to save money, but the main ones, the works of Gauder, the Sagrada Familia, Casa Batlló, the Camp Nou, which is Barcelona's stadium, which is sensational. There's a tour inside of it, or you can watch a game too, but then it's all paid too. You will have to pay. For the main tours, the coolest ones, there's no way, you have to pay. Another cool tip there, talking about Las Ramblas that has many restaurants, is for you to plan your trip to save a lot in restaurants. And what happens, the restaurants there are very close to touristic points, are much more expensive, and the food is of the same quality as the others. So our tip is, when you want to eat, walk 3-4 blocks into the city. We will find local restaurants that are just as good as the others and much cheaper. And the cool thing is that you will get to know the local cuisine of the place, which is always a little bit different. And don't buy water in the restaurants. For those who don't know, in Europe, if you sit there and ask for a bottle of water, they bring you a 1-liter bottle of water that's beautiful. It's a glass bottle and you will find it sensational, but then when you go to see the price, it costs between 6 and 8 euros. It's very expensive, even more for us who convert it to our currency. Imagine paying that for an entire meal, dinner and lunch for every day of your trip. So what do? Ask for tap water, which is tap water. They are very used to it, both in the United States and Europe. Tap water is filtered, so people are used to drinking tap water. People who live there usually don't buy water in restaurants. This tip is also valid for souvenirs. Avoid buying souvenirs in tourist attractions. Get out of there and walk 3 blocks. You will see some stores with the same products because they are the same. The retailer is always the same, but the prices end up being cheaper and the store is much emptier. It's more worthwhile. So it's a case that you can research a little bit. You can find nice souvenirs with a much lower price. You just have to search. Another important tip for your Barcelona planning and to save money is the question of accommodation. The accommodation in Barcelona is not so cheap. There are many hotels, but the tourist area is very large and receives many tourists, so it's not easy to find cheap hotels. So we have 2 recommendations. One, we think it's worth paying a little bit more and staying in the historic center. We think that's the historic center of the city is very nice. You can see by the map the Plaza de Catalunya and Las Ramblas, which is the street I mentioned. You stay there close, you are close to everything and in the best location possible. More or less there close to the Gothic Quarter. You also can locate yourself on the map. There's the best location, but the lodging is a little bit more expensive. If you want a cheaper accommodation, you can go a little bit higher on the map. More or less at the height, you will see that is where the Sagrada Familia is, because the Sagrada Familia is a little bit further away, as you can see here on the map. So you end up being a little bit cheaper accommodation, but it's a little bit further away. But as there are many subway stations, you don't always get a good hotel, but you can get one near a subway station and you will be able to move around easily. To make it easier, we put here below, I'll leave the link in the description, we created a personalized map in the site that we use there to search for hotels, which is the biggest site in the world, the one with the best deals, and where we always do it because of the trust, the research, and so on. We were able to customize there a map of ourselves with this region that we think is the best region in Barcelona. So you will see that there will be a delimited area, and if you stay within this area, you will be in the best possible location in Barcelona. And to make no mistake, we left in this link the filters that we use in the searches, which are 3-star hotels up, because 3 stars in Europe is already great, and 8 to 10 guest reviews, so the rating is always upward. So if you enter your travel data and search with this link, then any hotel that appears within this region and with these filters, you can book calmly and you will certainly have a very good lodging. And the golden tip to save more on lodging is to book in advance. For car rental, airfare and lodging is almost the same thing. You will save a lot if you book in advance. The best prices, the best hotels that have the best value for money will start selling out first than the others. If you delay too long, these rooms, those hotels will start to sell out. Only the most expensive and the not so good ones will be left. So make your reservation as soon as possible. This site that we left here below, we like them a lot because of the free cancellation. It's the largest site in the world. It has a very strong negotiation with almost all the hotels, and the cancellation is free. So you enter now, see a nice hotel there for a good price, book it and guarantee it, because cancellation is free. If later on you want to change a hotel, see a different hotel in a different location with more people, with less people, you cancel the one and make a new reservation. But at least you don't run the risk that sometimes for a month of difference that you delay, the prices already go up a lot, and they are in euro, guys. Don't forget that. So it's even more expensive for us tourists. So book in advance and then you will be good to go. That's the way to save a lot of money on lodging. And another item that nobody can leave out nowadays is the cell phone. You can't travel abroad anywhere in the world, even in your own country, and not have a cell phone to use the internet at will. The internet is fundamental because you will search the places, you will use the GPS, you will search the opening hours of the stores, restaurants, make reservations, see the tickets, and finally everything. So our tip is buy the chip in your country. From our experience, it turned out to be a little cheaper and much easier. That is a very good site, a partner. I'll leave the link here below. We only use it there cheap chip in our last trips. It works well everywhere and it's very good. Their service is sensational. It's a very good company, and they delivered it to us at home. We entered on their site, we bought it in our country, and within a few days we received our chip at home along with a very descriptive manual. When we arrived at our destination, we put the chip in our cell phone and we were already able to use the internet, which is very good to do all your research and to use everything commonly because it's very good. There is their application where you can follow your consumption, how much you are using, and if you need to recharge, you just have to do a recharge then and save a chip for other trips, because in the first purchase the investment is a little high because the value of the chip is included, but the chip is valid forever. So for the next trips, having the chip, you just have to make a call to them, or you can recharge it through the application. Then you pay a little bit cheaper and save even more for your next trip. And for Europe, there is a cool tip that we like to give, actually two, which are the trains and ferries. A lot of people, when they go from one city to another, think about the plane, but in Europe there are some different methods. For example, the train is very used there. We are not used to this in our country, but the trains are very good and are usually much cheaper than airline tickets. It's easier and you don't need to arrive 2 hours before, 3 hours before to check in. Arriving 15 minutes before, you wait there, the train stops, and in 10 minutes you get on and you're off again. And there are very good trains, you can sleep in. There are trains with beds, you choose your seat, you can take a night train so you can rest, and it's much easier and faster. So take a look at the train, because sometimes you will save a lot instead of paying for an airplane ticket to go from one city to another, sometimes even from one country to another. The trains in Europe go through all the main countries, so you can go anywhere by train. And our tip to use the train comparator that we found here, I'll leave the link here below as well, which is the biggest train comparator in Europe. You put there your destination, it will give you the value, the route, and the main company, so it's very easy. And in the same line that are the ferries, for those who are going to travel to some islands there, the ferries turn out to be very good. For the Greek islands, we use them a lot, and for the Balearic Islands, which is in Spain, that is Mallorca, Menorca, and Ibiza, we made this trip, guys. It's sensational. We highly recommend it, even for people who are not much of a party person. Ibiza is worth it just the same because the beaches there are sensational. So to make this trip, the ferries end up being much cheaper than flights in airplanes. So take a look. We'll leave here also the link of the website that we use it to hire the ferries. It's very good, very cool, and you can get much cheaper prices using it. So it's very good, and I think it's worth a shot. So go to the website, see the ferries and the trains, and see if it's worth it. And that's it, guys. I hope you have enjoyed the tips. If you like them, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel here, because that really helps us. And follow us on social networks. We're always traveling the world trying to show the tips there in a very cool way, and the family routine there with our little one, that is a blast. And if you're planning, having any questions, comments here below, give me some suggestions for the video, or if you want some help with your trip, if you have any silly questions, add us on Instagram, send us a direct message or send us a message, and we'll be glad to help you. We love to help, and tag us in any post you make when you are there so we can repost it too. And here on the side, I'll leave you the playlist with all the other videos for Barcelona and Spain for you to check out before you travel. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much and have a nice trip.